Guys, it's squeaky bum time. It's nearly time to come and see me do my new show, Roleplay, in the glorious walled garden in Bangor by the Sea. This is my biggest show of the year. I'll not be doing another big venue this year at all. This is it. This is the only time you can see me. It's in my home city. I'm going for stout afterwards. It's going to be a party and a festivity. So if you want to be part of it, you can get the very last tickets because there's not many left right now via the link in this podcast. Whether you're listening to it with your ears, watching it with your eyes, it is there for you now. Follow that link, buy the last tickets, and don't come at me and be all, I tried to get tickets, but get over it. Get it now. Be quick. It's going to be a great show. I've been doing work in progresses. I've been loving it, and I can't wait for the finished article on Saturday, the 19th of August. Get snappy, get tickets, let's go. Guys, if you're a fan of the Sly Guy podcast, and when you get to the end of an episode, feel like a real sense of foreboding, or you feel down. I don't want to say you feel depressed, but you know what I mean. You're not feeling great when you get to the end of the episode. You're like, oh, I had a really good time listening to that and I want more. Fear not, because a remedy is at hand. You can go to www.patreon.com/Sly Guy podcast, where you'll get an early release access to this weekly podcast. You'll get the extra Sly Guy podcast on a Monday, and you'll get bonus podcasts with guests. You'll get vlogs, early access to tickets, and just general interaction with me. I mean, what's more fun than that, eh? And you can do that exclusively at patreon.com/Sly Guy podcast for as little as £2 a month. That's nothing. Subscribe there and get hours of bonus entertainment. The Sly Guy podcast is always sponsored by our favourite and your favourite now, Modest Beer. Now, you know all about Modest. I've been harping on about Modest for a long time, but guess what? Now there is a discount code for the Sly Hards or the Rider Slies, whatever you are. You can get 15% off at checkout on www.modestbeer.co.uk when you use the code SLYPA15. That's SLYPA15 for 15% off Modest Beer at the website. You can follow them on social media too, at Modest Beer, but don't miss out. Modest, if you haven't tried it yet, your life's about to change. It's about to get way better, because Modest is the beer supreme. That's not actually a slogan or anything. It's just, I try to pitch slogans to Modest every week. They never go with it, but 15% off at checkout with the code SLYPA15.
I'm the Sly Guy.
Hello and welcome to this week's Sly Guy podcast with me, Davey. I've got a guest again in the studio today. I've got the fantastic stand-up comedian Rachel McPeake. She's in the studio. We're shooting the shit. We're talking all things comedy. We're talking all things life. We're giving off about stuff. It's a Sly Guy podcast. It's what it is. So wherever you're listening, whether you're on a plane, in a drain, whether you're holiday making in Spain, oh wow, Julia Donaldson, watch out, I'm coming. That doesn't rhyme and I fucked it all. But anyway, this week's episode is a cracker. It's about to start now. Get yourself a coffee, get yourself a Danish pastry, and enjoy this week's episode of the Sly Guy podcast with me and my friend and yours, Rachel McPeake. You know what's good? I moved the camera a bit to fit the sign in, because
I was to fit me in, and I was like, that's grim.
Because before it would have been like people are just over it, but branding.
Yeah. Branding, am I over it?
Branding Lee. That's a niche reference to the man who got killed on the set of The Crow.
Oh, The Crow, yeah, I remember watching that back in the day. That was a real emo film.
Yeah, it was. And The Lost Boys, that's what those guys love.
Lost Boys, yeah, remember that.
But we're fine and we're recording now, so it's all. Ben, what I loved is Ben's producing this, and he's like, where did I start? We started. We're here. Here we are. My guest this week is Rachel McPeake, and I sound once again like Dr. Seuss.
You haven't done this voice the whole time I've been here, and then suddenly it comes on.
Listen, because my usual voice, how would you describe my real voice? That's like a gremlin.
I would say it's quite, it's quite monotone. It's very low, and it's we're happy to be here.
Yes,
not ecstatic, because we're just happy to be here.
Yes, no, I mean, I'm also looking at my look here. I look like the sort of person that would kill people at truck stops right now. Yes. It's not good.
You're like, do you identify with the men at dogging stop? The dogging spots?
You know what? I am not I'm
fascinated by dogging spots. Sorry to get...
Oh, right. Straight to the dogging.
Straight into it.
No messing, straight in. So, for anyone that doesn't know, dogging is something that I have only recently discovered.
Really? Not as a hobby?
Not as... But I only again, the next phrase came across it is probably not good either. But
just the bonnet.
I would refer to myself as going dogging when I took my dog for a walk.
Oh no!
Until I was corrected, I was like, you can't be telling
Swiftly
people.
corrected, yeah.
Yeah, because like who goes dogging at 6:30 in the morning? That's someone that's too keen.
Apparently, there's like rules to it. So there's one on like the motorway, kind of like what do you call those, like laybys where like the truck stops, those kind of things.
Yeah.
Apparently, I've been told through the grapevine is that two cars will face each other and one will, usually two men, traditionally, and one will flash the headlights once at them, and then they will flash back if they want to go and have some time in the forest together. Which is weird.
Because if somebody flashed me, I go and go, "Fuck's your
problem?"
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah, why'd you dick out?
I'd be like, look at my car, be like, "What's falling off? What's going on here?" So it's which I've never seen before. I've never witnessed it happen. But there's a lot of parked cars, they're all empty cars, and there's a forest beside that lay-by, just like.
And where is it's not the Giant's Ring, is it? Because I know the Giant's Ring is a hotspot.
Comedy. The Dramara, the exit onto the dual carriageway from Dramara.
No.
People will know.
I only know Dramara as butter.
Yeah.
That's all I know. What I'm going to do is, for the listeners who don't know, who may be like sheltered like me and don't know much about dogging, I'm going to Google what the definition of dogging is. Do you want to have a guess as to what the definition of dogging is?
Consensual.
Dogging definition.
Dogging definition.
The practice of watching or engaging in exhibitionist sexual activity in a public place.
It can be watching as well. You can just. Oh right, okay. I thought you had to actually be involved.
Well, yeah. I mean, because my type of dogging that I was doing was just generally walking my dog. So I don't know. It can vary, but
what kind of dog do you have?
A retriever.
A retriever. Okay.
This is him.
Oh, I was going to say. Yeah, I was like, what's the meaning?
It's weird,
of this?
yeah. But I'm worried about him today because he's not been too well. So hopefully he's been drooling a lot.
Okay.
So hopefully he's not going to die while I'm here doing the podcast.
Okay. If they're drooling a lot, it means they feel sick.
Yeah, but his poos and all have been sweet. So
to taste.
Like, it's very nubby. They don't taste a million miles away from what Marmite tastes like. It's quite.
Is it? Yeah.
It's meaty.
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 They're drilling a lot. It means yourself. If you've been on the pints the next morning. Oh, there's nothing worse, Dave. Oh, it's just bringing it all back to me. Just when you get up and you think, oh, I might have got away with that, and then your mouth starts to fill with saliva, and you're like, oh, it's coming.
That's the pre-book, isn't it?
Yeah, the pre-book.
The pre-book feeling.
You know what? I think people might have said this before. The anticipation of booking is far worse than the actual booking.
Yes.
Knowing that you're going to be sick is way, way worse.
Yeah, because then you have to assess the location.
Oh yeah.
Because because if a book just goes, it's time that you need to get somewhere quickly.
Have you ever been sick into your hands?
my most
story time
I could think of
book
recently,
story time segment.
I was at my parents' house, so this was before marriage and kids. So I got up, and again, when you're in your parents, you don't want to let on how dying you are.
Yeah.
But you're always dying. You're always and they that's the thing.
They always know.
And they know everything.
Yeah. So
I was at breakfast, and I had they made me like a Sunday fry up, and I was like, oh, get this into me, I'll cure me rightly. Big swig of tea, and was like, oh, it's time.
Yeah.
And I thought,
it is time.
I know I'm going to
see this again.
So I grabbed my t-shirt.
Oh no.
And I held it out to make like a tray and
like
just
a bib, like a book bib.
I made a book bib, and it just drained. Like, when you're like making coffee in the drink, it was horrendous. But then I just kind of had basically like a paella. Just
oh no.
Dry. It was so gross.
From Ulster fried to paella, just all chopped up little bits.
So horrible.
Rice, even though you didn't eat rice, there's rice in it.
There's and always sweet corn. I've never eaten sweet corn in my life, but that was pretty bad. Gross. And then my dad was like, get out, and I was like, well, I'm trying to get out.
Get out.
It's
like when the dog goes and you're like, get out. The dog's like, if I had thumbs I could get out the door myself. You need to let me out.
But imagine I just stood there and looked at him and went, no, bleh, just into the.
I'm actually finding as I get older, I know it's very frustrating to hear people younger than you go, as I get older, as I reach retirement age, but as I get older, it's taken less and less strength to make me physically ill. And I can see it happening. I had 3 pints a few weeks ago and was sick.
Yeah, like vomited?
Yeah.
Did you have any? I think there's a process to it. Did you have a date, or was it on
not a date beforehand? But usually it would be the next morning for me. But as soon as I got home, I was like, I got into bed and was like, oh no, it's time to get back up again. And you have to. Not sure if anyone else has anxiety like me, but there has a plastic bag near the bed just in case you were ever to be sick. And you know what? Who's laughing now? Because I was sick and there was a plastic bag underneath the bed waiting for me. See, all these years just waiting for me to be sick.
That is also, I think, and with respect, slightly amateur.
With respect.
Yeah, I think you should have a basin because
Oh, yeah.
a bag, there's a lot of footering going on with the bag.
Yeah, but
Because you know, if you're, it's like a
That's too
sick
late.
bag in a plane. By the time you get it out and footer it open, and
Yeah.
you've booked.
Just, yeah. You're like, well, probably you were like, cut the middleman, just spoke into your fucking
Yeah.
t-shirt. You know? Like,
There, hostess. Excuse me, love.
Yes.
I've got a t-shirt full of boat. You want a spare t-shirt for
have you
me?
ever seen someone being sick into one of those bags on the plane?
No.
No, neither have I. I
No.
think it's a myth. I think it's a conspiracy.
But what
you
I
know?
use it for is my chewing
So-
gum all the time.
Oh.
Pop, then you go.
Oh, someone goes to open it, it's just like tearing apart.
See, that's
you
it.
know?
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
You know,
so
that's
inconsiderate.
that is so inconsiderate.
Yeah.
But the booking, I don't like it. You know, but
No.
I remember there was a moment in life, and it was just. Do you ever have a strange moment with yourself where you like look at
Frequently.
yourself and you just like the most like a psychotic moment that I think, and I was like, this is a man at his lowest ebb. I was on a stag do in Amsterdam, and we were in a dorm. So there's about 10 or 12 of us in this one dorm. Too many guys in a dorm.
Yeah.
They didn't
You
have a
smell.
toilet. They had a wet room. So
Okay.
there's a shower. It was always a wet room, shockingly
It's always, yeah.
wet.
Bit damp.
And we were all just blocked. And when I went in the toilet, one of the guys was broken in the toilet. One of the guys was broken in the sink.
Oh, God.
One of the guys was broken in the hole where the shower goes, and one of the guys had the top off the toilet, the cistern, and was broken in the cistern.
Oh, no.
So
Not the
I'm-
cistern.
Then I was like,
That's-
oh no.
That's deprived.
It was
You
disgusting.
have to pick someone to book
So
on.
I-
Who's your least favourite friend?
But then I thought,
Just
it's a
pick
wet
one.
room, just broke. But then they got into the habit of it. So then the guy finished broken in the sink, and I was like, right, move. I need the broke in the sink. So
I've never walked into a wet room and gone, it's a wet room, just book
Yeah.
anywhere. Just book anywhere. It's a free country, you know.
Book.
This room was designed for booking.
unless it's a dry heave, in which
Yes.
case take yourself off because this is a wet room.
Yeah, I've dry heave as a plastic bag
Yeah.
time. If it's a dry heave, you got time.
But I managed to get to the sink, and then I don't
Yeah.
know what, I just smelt this guy's boke in the sink, and
Yeah.
never has more boke
Oh, no.
come from my body. But as that was happening, the
Yeah.
tears were running down my face.
Oh, yeah.
Like my face was so red. I looked up into the mirror directly in
Yeah.
front and just went,
This-
look at the
Look at the fucking
fucking state of you.
You never talk more harshly to yourself after you've just
No.
been sick from drink. The worst, you didn't ask, but I'll tell you, the worst hangover I ever had was the day after Jerry Cinnamon last
Right,
year.
okay.
And I will
Should say all
never...
them as when you said I thought you were going to say Jerry Springer.
No, yeah.
Jerry Springer, yeah. He's
He
in the
makes
red.
me physically
Yeah.
sick. And all, you know, you've been to Balsonic, so
Yes.
it's like a shit show.
I went to Tom
for-
Jones, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. That's the demographic for Tom Jones, you know. But they have such a shit drink selection.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just outsider or tenants, I believe, on draft. So, or then there's just red wine and white wine, which I like.
Yes.
There's no names.
Yes.
It's just one
Straight up.
color.
No Malbec, no Sauvignon,
No.
just straight up, it's
No,
red.
It's
or
just
white.
generic, and then vodka, Red Bull,
Mm-hmm.
basically is what you're on to after that. But all I had was outsider because I was like, right, I don't like tannins, I'll just stick with outsider, and all I drank was cider the entire
Mm-hmm.
night. Now, I'm not sure if you've ever done this. Wouldn't recommend to only drink cider the entire night because the sugar will
Right.
destroy you the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And I booked so much the next day, but there wasn't anything to book. You know, it was just
Yeah.
dry heaving.
Just that
Like,
fluorescent highlighter
just
yellow
phlegm.
bile. Yeah.
Just phlegm. Yes, the yellow phlegm.
Yeah.
This is beautiful content
Mm.
for podcasting. But I dry heaved so much that I burst blood vessels in my eyes. You done
Yes,
that?
yes.
So I looked like I was cursed. I was like a
Yeah.
cursed child. And it was horrific because you know like you said you're hiding it from your parents, trying to hide it. You can't hide blood in your eyeballs.
No.
I've discovered.
No,
So yeah,
'cause
it was a very bad time.
I had one of my earlier. You know when you're drinking underage, you try to hide it all the
Yeah.
time. I think I must have been about 16, and my aunt lives in England, London, and she was home and just had brought her baby home to like introduce her
Did you book on the baby?
to us. No, I went out and came back, and my aunt was up with my mum, and they were having a drink, and my dad was kicking about, and I was like, all right, and they're like, you drunk? Fuck, no, I'm not, no.
No.
And they're like, you are drunk. And rather than just go, hey,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
underage
yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
drunk,
yeah.
I went, no, I'm fucking not. And my mind said to them, I'll prove you I'm not drunk. I'll go and get the baby.
Oh,
And I
right,
was
okay,
like,
so
let me
you're trying
get
to
the
prove it.
baby. So I was
They were
trying to
like,
prove them by lifting a sleeping baby and like nursing it.
Yeah.
You know, which thankfully they didn't let me
Yeah.
do. But I was like, yous are all fucking bastards.
Yes.
And you don't know fuck all. Where's the baby? Give
Where's
me the
Give
baby.
me the baby.
And they didn't. Which
No.
now that I've had a baby, I'm like, I maybe would have killed that person.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
and that's-
A more simple procedure would just be try and walk in a straight line. Like
Yeah.
you were like, no, give me
No.
the vulnerable child.
Not only that.
to see what I can do with it.
Yeah, I'm going to be like, you know the guy that walked between the Twin Towers before they got
Yes.
taken out by Al Qaeda? When that guy,
It's the exact same thing.
the great
Yeah.
whatever he's called, like I was like, I thought, you know what, if I can not only like walk in a straight line, I'll add a wee bit of jeopardy.
A little bit of,
You know,
little bit of jazz.
I'll have a baby.
Yeah. Yes.
Now I hadn't worked out what way I would hold it because I don't think I'd ever held it before then.
Okay. It
Because
was literally-
newborn
it was just
babies
a-
are they're invertebrates. I don't care what anyone says. They've no bones or spines. They're just flat. It's like a bag of water.
Yep.
It's like your bag of Boke. You know, trying to hold a bag of
Boke.
Boke after.
Just a bag of paella.
Yeah, seriously, you know what?
Just-
I'm going
that's
to
it.
walk this baby
Yeah.
up and down the living room to show you I'm not
Yes.
drunk, which is the drunkest thing.
Yeah, I was drunk as that's
Mm.
drunk logic, definitely.
And now
Yeah.
that my cousin's full grown adult now, and I
Mm-hmm.
think she's kind of
Forgiving you for
got through life pretty
Yeah.
much unscathed. That being said, had I have got her out that night, who knows
who knows what happened.
what would have happened?
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, it's fun. Being drunk's a good time,
Yeah.
and it's that's the awkward thing now. I think is like you look back on what you were like when you drank, like in your teens and your 20s, and like I genuinely feel like I am an entirely different human being,
Oh yeah.
like both
Yeah.
inside and outside. Ever if your people, your mates, and all be like, "Oh, remember you did this?" I'm like, "Yeah, stop
that's-
it,
Wasn't me.
stop it, no."
Mistaken identity.
Doing the old Shaggy
Wasn't-
defense,
Yeah,
no.
wasn't me.
But I just couldn't cope with it.
Yeah, it's becoming less. Well, it's becoming less fun to be drunk as you get older because the whole time I'm thinking I'm really going to suffer for this tomorrow.
Yeah.
And being drunk is like stealing happiness from tomorrow, Dave.
It is, yeah.
It's very good.
But then-
it's very fun. That's the
But
thing.
you gotta look at like YOLO, don't you? You only live once.
Are you
gotta
still
live
in the YOLO
moment.
stage?
I mean, yeah, because when I was on holidays, I went to a bar called the YOLO Lounge, and I'm
Okay.
like, you know what, I'm going
You're
to this YOLO Lounge
still there.
because you only live once in the lounge, and I don't
Yeah.
know why I went full Sean Connery. You only live once, but I went, yeah, and you know what? I think
Yeah.
now I kind of stopped drinking a lot since Holly was born because the next day,
Yeah.
no respect for your hangover. You have to deal with it. It was shit.
True. I can't imagine anything worse than having like screaming kids with a hangover. It's bad enough
no.
on your own in silence.
Yes.
It's never mind having company, screaming company. You know.
But now
So-
I sort of think like you can kind of pull through it if it's worth it. Like see that if the event or the night or the moment
it was worth it.
is worth it,
Yeah.
you can deal with a hangover. I think.
Yeah, definitely. Like for example, something comes to mind was the comedians boxing after party.
Yes.
That was a very good time. That was an
Yeah. excellent
excellent night. It was worth the
Worth the hang.
worth dying the next day for. Yeah,
Because
100%.
whenever you were talking about going to Belsonic, I went to see Robbie Williams in Dublin.
Oh, yeah.
Now he is the one. Catherine has
He's
said,
the
like,
one. Just end that sentence there.
He's the one. Yeah. And I was a great thank you for teeing me up for that.
Yeah.
But Catherine has said, like, like when there's they use the hall pass phrase, I don't like it, it's too Americanized. But that conversation was if you were to cheat on me with somebody,
Yeah.
she'd be like, Robbie, I wouldn't just cheat on you, I would leave leave you, and what about I would leave them for Robbie Williams. But I didn't tell her Kelly Brook would be my choice back
Yeah.
because
I got in trouble for when I was asked my hall pass because I said Steve from the office.
Yeah.
As in my office that I
Yeah.
work in,
Nice.
which apparently is
Yeah.
not. It's meant to be a celebrity. Someone
Yeah.
should have told me that.
Yeah. But I mean, Steve from the Office,
Got me
what
in
is it
trouble.
about him? Just
Just
that we shouldn't say quoi.
yeah, it's just the forbidden fruit.
Yeah.
It's apparently meant
Is
to be
he
someone, no,
Oh,
it's apparently meant to be someone really like it's never going to happen.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, saying someone that you actually both of you know is a faux pas
Yeah.
is what I've discovered. Learn from my mistakes, folks.
Yeah. Because see now that I am kind of like we're in, I hate to use this phrase, entertainment, but because we do stand up,
We're
but,
in the industry.
but sometimes you speak to people, or it's conceivable, and I think now, conceivably, I could meet Kelly Brook at some point, and then I'd have to tell her, listen, I know you're recently married to an absolute dreamboat, but
But I'm also a dreamboat.
you have the chance,
Yeah.
one shot, one
Do not
opportunity,
miss your chance.
to seize all you've ever wanted.
That's your type, yeah.
Yeah. Now, in fairness, that's kind of what Catherine looks like too.
Yeah.
She's got the similar look. So,
So
but
she's like the Northern Irish.
so,
Kelly Brook, yeah.
but don't give her that. She's getting a complex.
She's not
No.
not there. Good to know.
But I sort of think to now that if I ever came across her, I'd probably just be really awkward.
Oh yeah.
And I'd be like, I love you, thank you.
Yes.
But I'm married.
Thank
don't
you
worry.
and goodbye.
I'd be like, don't you get any ideas, Brooke?
Yeah.
Alright, no.
Just turns super weird because you
Yeah, you've made it weird. And she's like, I've not said a word. Shh, you
have ruined this
made
for us. Yeah.
But we went down to see Robbie Williams, and it was like we got a babysitter for until late the next day. So we're in Dublin, we're staying over. Let's go for it. But like that old problem when you got the Belsonic, the drinks not great.
No.
And then I was
Cheers,
weighing up the queues because if you've been to 3 Arena,
Yes.
You know the way it's
Yeah.
like, it's great for like if you're standing, because you can just go get drink, you can have a wee
Yeah, it's
boogie at the
efficient,
back.
yeah.
It's a good spot. But I was like, I don't want to queue for a beer, and then, you know, when you drink too much like beer or cider, you're like really bloated.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, I'm just gonna go straight to the vodka, but I'm in the queue, so I don't want to fucking queue, so I'll just do doubles. So I get double vodka and Red Bull. Not a good idea.
Yeah.
I think I had like about probably 10 of those.
Yeah.
So at
Yeah,
that
that's
concert,
true.
I was wiped up.
I don't have a heart
but
attack.
Also, I don't know.
That's
I have
the
a
thing.
strong ticker,
Yeah.
which is weird. It's kept me in good stead. But Catherine that night was like, you were just too intense.
Oh,
I was
right,
like, yeah,
really? Yeah,
I had
intense.
potentially, you know, 10 tins of Red Bull. I'm going to be fired
Yeah.
up. But I was like, what do you mean intense? In what way? She's like, you're being weird. How am I being weird?
Yeah.
Like,
It's like, by doing this,
stop it.
yeah.
I was like, yeah. And
Sure.
she's like, you don't normally drink that. You have like 2 Guinnesses or...
Yeah.
And then now
true.
you're just fully... But
I
again,
find 2 Guinness is tips me over the edge as well. It gets you. This is a really vulgar podcast already. It's
Yeah.
isn't what I plan to talk about, but Guinness shits
yeah.
are a real thing. And
Because I always found my
two
Guinness
tips
come
me
out,
over.
they're
Yeah.
very black and then they just have a white end.
yes, a little bit of foam.
It's like a magic
And the
stick.
end- yeah, it's really thin. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it's not.
What's
it's not
gross is
good.
whenever I do that, it's
Yeah.
whenever my mates reach over and put a wee smiley face on top of it.
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
that's gross. Why would you?
Was this in the wet room that you were all in? Is
Yes,
This,
this
this
is
all
in
happened in the
The
wet
Amsterdam
room.
wet room.
Yes.
This is the name of the podcast, The Wet Room. Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
I mean, there's a
God.
film.
I'm
Let's
st-
set it in the wet room.
I'm still not over someone taking the cistern off the toilet because those are heavy. So he must have had enough time to like do some weightlifting and then
Yeah.
and then be like, right, we're going.
But
going
also,
here.
it doesn't
which
go
means
anywhere,
doesn't
it's
the
gross.
cistern just doesn't it refill the toilet? So was his boat just then refilling
Yeah,
the
it must
toilet?
have been. But then the
for a
boat
couple of
won't go
cycles?
in
Ugh.
because it's not a full liquid. So
Yeah. Oh God, Amsterdam's
it's
just
problematic.
a cesspit.
Yeah. Have you've been? You're an
I have,
Amsterdamer.
yeah. I have when I was 18, just fresh out of school. I know
Nice.
it's quite early to go on, but
Yeah.
we had a great time.
And what was
Great time.
like the lure of Amsterdam? So for us, stag do, and we thought like,
Yeah.
you know, what was it a weed
well,
trip or
It was
culture?
It was well, yeah, it's all about all about the culture.
Cannabis weed.
Yes, the cannabis, the vegetarian cigarette. You know, one of those. But
Listen, I'm all
yeah.
down with the kids. I know
Oh,
what
yeah.
this cannabis weed's about.
The hat, the tip. That's how you know.
The ganja.
Yeah. The ganja.
Do you have any of that G, young man?
Young man. Whenever you say young man, you automatically age yourself
Yeah.
like 10 years.
But
But yeah, see, everyone was going to Santa Ponsa and Ibiza. Well, Ibiza's probably too expensive when you're 18, but
Yeah.
Santa Ponsa was the main one. And I was like, I can't think of anything fucking worse than going to Santa Ponsa for a couple of days, like fresh out of school. So I was like, right, we'll go to Amsterdam, and we had a great time. We had a giggly time.
and did you eat some brownies?
We did when we were over there, and we were in like, it must have been like the red light district or one of the coffee shops near there. And I just remember this guy like properly staring me and my friend out. I'm not sure if he was just like completely whapped like out of it,
Yeah.
but he was just like, you know, staring at us like, you know, in the corner. And I was like, I don't feel comfortable, we should probably go. But,
And now, how long have you been going out with him for now?
yes. I misjudged him at the start, you know. He's a good guy, you know.
But my mum,
It was fun though. It was a fun trip.
my mum and dad's friends went to Amsterdam, and I love it because they're just guys in their 60s, right?
Yeah.
So they went to Amsterdam, and I mean, I've said I want to make this into a bit, but it would be very obvious it's their story, you know.
Yeah,
so,
true.
but they said that they went there and they wanted to try like some edibles, and I was like, well, it doesn't work. And then they just ate like too much. The classic old, this doesn't work.
This doesn't work for me. I'm
it kicks
immune. Yeah, because I think it's more dangerous to take edibles than it is to just smoke it, because edibles take 45 minutes to kick in, whereas if you smoke it, it'll be instant. So you know when to stop as well. But if you just keep downing edibles and stuff, then it just hits you like a fucking train, and it's like we're now having a terrible time.
But apparently, what had happened was they had been to the Anne Frank house during the day. And then they'd gone for a few drinks, had some edibles.
Yeah.
And then he was in a bar. This guy was in the bar.
Ugh.
And he's chatting to this other fella. And he was like, whatever. And what's your name? And he was like, Anne. And he's like, what? And he's like, started to believe he was Anne Frank.
Yeah.
So then his partner had to take him back to the hotel room. And he was like, no, I am Anne.
I am the reincarnation of Anne Frank.
And he was like, and he said like he like cocooned him when he got back in his bed sheets. And like you had to go to bed and he was like
just
freaking
waiting,
out.
totally. Like,
so then instead of just being sound and staying with him, he went back out just to go out
just
on his
leave
own.
Anne there.
But then he was like, that was fine. He came back, Anne was fine. You know, believe it or not, very subservient, just quiet.
Yeah.
Just stayed upstairs in the bed, and you know,
Well behaved.
not a peep out of her.
Yeah.
But then the next day, he said like it was all grand. He was a bit of paranoia, whatever. And then he had a drink. He started drinking again, and then the way he described it, he was like, and that's when I started becoming Anne again.
Oh, God.
You're nothing Fucking hell, right? And he's like, right, I can't do it anymore.
Reincarnation,
Started
yeah.
to believe he was Anne Frank.
That's true. One of my favourite, is it a TikTok or a Vine? I'm not sure what it is now. It could be either.
I mean, you know,
But
I know
it's-
Vine, but I don't know TikTok.
Yeah, I know Vine, and yeah, I would not know if I with TikTok.
I'm 73. I look well.
Apparently, Instagram Reels are just week-old TikToks. They'll hit TikTok first. But one of my favourite ones is when there's an interviewer's talking to a guy and goes like, "What's the most overrated thing to do in Amsterdam?" Have you seen this?
No.
And he goes, "Anne Frank's house," and they were like, "Yeah." She's like, "Why?" And he was like, "It's just a house." And she's not there.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. But no, actually, I think I would like to go back to Amsterdam now that I'm not like feral 18-year-old. I think I would actually enjoy it. To be honest, like the people are like everyone speaks English. They're really friendly.
Yeah.
They are. The food's nice. Museums are good.
Yeah.
Canals are nice. I mean, it's just and it's cheap.
You know what?
It's a
I
good
feel
place.
like I would like to go to Amsterdam, not on a stag do.
Yeah.
I feel like because on the stag do we just went to this one bar beside a hotel. That the food they sold was called the party mix, and it was like probably just like meat of any kind mixed
Mystery
together.
meat. Yeah.
It was, and you know yourself, mystery meat's not to be trusted.
Yeah.
You know, and that's maybe
It's true.
why there was such carnage in the wet room.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what
Mystery.
we were eating, just all
No,
this
just, yeah,
mystery meat.
tins of
Like all
spam.
the book was just pink. Like why is this book pink? It's horrible.
Yeah, it's nasty.
But like I would like to walk
yeah.
around it. I would like to, you know, go to a wee cafe, have
Yeah.
because I actually
Would you have the energy for a stag do now, or would it be a more tame sort of
I
stag do?
feel like it's hard to put this in. I am
Hard to put this into words. Is it difficult
you
for
know
you?
what I am what would be known as a legend of the stag do. Like I have been on 15 stag do's. Like I'm a war vet.
War vet for
And like
stags.
I went to one recently and it was with older guys and I thought, you know what, we'll not. But then the beast that lives inside is in the cage, and there's another guy I'm good friends with, Jack, who is like he's a dentist, has his own practice and everything. He's
I
a
love
proper.
that. I love when stories build up with it.
Yeah.
This guy's an accomplished guy.
But you know what? He's a really but him and
member of
I,
society,
you know, when just certain people just connect.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, me and this, like I just love him, right?
Yeah.
And whenever we get together, because I thought, you know what, I can't bring the old Jack out of him. He can't bring the old Dave out of me. We're both old dads now. But as soon as we saw each other, it was like, you know what, we're on it.
Yep.
And then I didn't appreciate it the next maybe 4 days afterwards. But in that night, we had what a night we had together. It was
4-day
tremendous.
hangover. Is that possible?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it is. And then what was
Yeah.
also great, whenever he was over for the wedding, and we had a great time at the wedding, and then the next day we went for a nice hangover lunch with our wives, and it was just great.
Yeah.
And then our wives bonded, so now I'm like,
There's nothing better than
we're
finding another couple who everyone gels together. That's gold dust. See, whatever. Because usually, well, not to be like sexist, but usually it's the women that are forcing the double dates together. 'Cause
Yeah.
like the women are good friends and they want to bring their partners out with them, and then the men are just left to go play. You know,
Because
go play together. It's great whenever everyone actually really gets on. Like that's protect that dynamic at all costs. It's very important.
Yeah, because what I find too, like in like I'm still very close with like my group of school friends. So like me and all my mates,
which is rare.
we're all really tight,
Yeah.
and which is weird for guys in their 30s, you know, because usually you'd think we'd loosen up a bit, have piles, other things, but
So
we're
like
all
if you-
super
Did you say
tight.
have piles?
Yeah, just we're all super tight.
It's like, did I hear that right?
But we like so when like we got together, like it was only Catherine that kind of pointed out when I first introduced her to everybody. All the guys went and sat in one room and kind of just left the wives, and then she's like, that is a bit and then I think throughout all that they were like, yeah, it is a bit awkward. So now I think over time that's changed, but
you'll find that the genders will just
Yeah,
divide naturally, even in like if you're in a room together for training or
like
training as
stand up.
well. Yeah,
you know, just all the lineups of just guys, and then
just
that's it, gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, not contentious. We're not getting into this today.
Exactly. Don't get me started.
But
Jesus.
but like that's the thing is whenever like because Catherine met a friend, I don't actually know how they met. I think she went to the same school as Holly, her kid. No, not like Catherine's not friends with a 5-year-old. That would be really weird.
Best friends,
But no, I think
all
she
common.
just met through like the school run or whatever, and then she became friendly with Jordan. Shout out to Jordan. And then when
Robinson.
she was like, we should go. Yeah, Jordan Robinson.
I was like,
And,
who else is it going to be?
But then you might know this about Jordan, but he's got a husband. So they were like,
Oh, okay.
we should go out. And then I just was like, whenever we were out with them as a couple, I'm like, I really like these guys. Like
Yeah.
I had a great time. And then so now it's like, that's good. There's a couple we can go out with. It's always good if you can have couples you can go out with that you like them both.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
Because
and
usually
then-
like one or the other, you know, but whenever you have both, it's like it's perfect.
And then Catherine, again, same thing. My mate Griff's wife Anna, they had Holly and Oscar at the same sort of time. So they went to like like they weren't friends or anything really, and they went to like, you know,
Yeah.
like little baby classes together, and now they are probably like they're best friends.
Yeah.
And now it's like great because we go on holidays and all together. It's brilliant.
Your world is very different to mine, Dave. You're doing school runs
Yeah.
and baby classes and all this sort of stuff, and I'm just like, I can't relate to any of this.
But I don't love it. You know what I mean? I don't
You're
love
like,
those
I
moments.
want out. Yeah. I want out of this. I want
But
this
you know what? It's weird because like I think
Yeah.
we're getting really deep here. I
Yeah.
think for me, whenever you don't have as like you crave everything. I think life, isn't it? Life is
That's
you
just-
crave
this
what you
is
don't
just-
have, isn't it? You crave. So like when I was single, I was like, I
Philosophy with
really
the
want
philosophy.
a girlfriend. Then you get a girlfriend. I wish I was single.
Yes, exactly.
'Cause-
The grass is always greener no matter
Yeah.
where you are, so you may as well just appreciate the grass that you're on.
Yeah, because that was what like
Yeah.
we had a chat recently, and Catherine was like, I really miss, you know, whenever I was single and I could just like sit and watch like box sets on a Sunday
Yeah.
under the duvet with my dog. And I was like, oh, I miss being single because then I can just kiss people. That's
Yes,
not you know. So
Two very different sets of goals.
she didn't like that
You know,
retort.
I just
but
want like
yeah.
time my own self care. Like I just want to fuck people.
Yeah, It is what
Two
it
very
is.
different,
Yeah.
two different sets of ambitions.
But it's even like, but that being said,
My
it's
ambitions
like,
about yours, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm
listen,
going to fuck about box sets.
but we sort of like how like I find now that my like any free time or like I love it, you know, like
Yeah.
anything social, I'm into it because it's like you can't do it
Yeah,
as much.
you
know
don't
what I
have
mean?
the
It's
chance
like-
to do anything else.
so-
You really treasure the moment, you know. Whereas
Yeah,
we can
and
do it
you're
anytime.
buzzing. Like, see, when I went on holidays there, I did not get excited about it at all. Probably much to Catherine's chagrin because
Yeah.
I did no packing, I did no
Chagrin, great
prep.
word.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that.
And listen, my English
The
degrees
vocab,
or
yeah.
my English degree, I'm a liar. My English A
English
level.
degree, yeah.
No,
No.
I did
Saying, no, I
criminology.
did.
No, I'm
Criminology.
Yeah, but my A level was English lit. Thank you. But
You are a crime to comedy, I suppose.
yeah, listen,
Yeah.
true. Listen, what can I say? But she was like, you know, like, why aren't you excited? I was like, because I have too many things I need to do. Like, my brain works.
Yeah.
I'll get through that. I'll cross the bridge when I get to it. And see, when I finish that last gig before
Yeah.
holiday, there's never a man more excited about holiday than me. And then it's
Duties
sort
were
of
finished at that point. You were done.
like I sort of
Ready
took
to
a wee
go.
bit of. I was like, I'm going to take time off. Now I had to bring my computer with me for the odd email here and there.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I just chilled out, drank
Relief.
Superbock, ate.
I love
Oh,
Superbock.
Superbock
Yeah,
is
you
great.
can get in Lidl.
Oh.
It's hard to get actually.
And
Superbock
the
is
minis,
really good.
the minis are
Oh, is
so
there
good.
minis?
Oh, there's many. And
Wee bottles
by the
of
way,
them, yeah.
you like cider, yeah? Even
do,
not an
yeah.
outsider.
No,
Have
not
you
an
ever
outsider.
had Somersby?
No. I've seen actually the 0% Summersby. I haven't actually had the full. You're like fuck the zero.
Somersby don't.
Where's it from?
It's owned by Carlsberg,
Okay.
but I only get it
Bigwigs.
in Portugal.
Okay.
So when I was on my stag do in Lisboa,
Lisboa.
just drank so much
Oh yes,
Somersby.
this is a good segue.
Yeah.
Dave was able to give me a great recommendation for a wine tasting tour in Lisbon. See, you forgot about this, and I
Yes!
see, Dave. It's funny. I don't
Oh.
forget. I don't forget about
No.
the times we've had together,
This is
but you
great.
do. Yeah,
This
exactly.
is great. Because
Yeah, that was
there
good.
must have been
That was a good
something.
time.
Well, right. Well, we will get back to this, but the Somersby,
Yes.
it's so good. And see Somersby bottle when it's got like the wee condensation. There's
yeah.
no nicer cider. Somersby, modest or happy for you to sponsor the
Yeah,
podcast as well.
exactly.
But there's been people.
Do you know I
now-
used to work with Chris?
Did you?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah. Exactly.
There you go.
I know it's a very small world.
Yeah.
You know, it's all.
Well, we'll talk about this off air
yeah.
because I have some grievances. No, I don't. I love Chris.
Modest
Chris-
is great. They have a
yeah.
great. Is it? I can't remember the fucking flavor, but it's got a yellow and red can label
That's
on
the.
it.
I think that's
Is
the
that
original.
Is that the citrus
I
or
think
something?
that's the
I don't know.
original.
It's great, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way,
It's
if
good
you
show.
want to buy cheaper Modest, you
I
can.
thought you
use-
were so you want to take one of those? I was like, well,
Oh
hands
no,
already on
no.
it.
By the way, they've been there for about
See,
7 years,
yes.
so I don't know how
This
tasty
one's
they'd be.
starting to expand.
Yeah.
The
One day it'll
oxygen
just
is getting
burst.
into it. Yeah.
But if you want to get 15% off when you're purchasing Modest online,
You already
www.modestbeer.co.uk, use the discount code SLYPA15.
There you go.
Get it?
Does
Sly IPA, Sly PA,
Oh, it's IPA.
Sly
See,
PA 15. No,
this is why they pay you the big bucks. This is
listen,
why.
But I'm not. I don't want to give this away on air. But there may or may not be a line of Sly Guy podcast beers coming out.
Oh, no way.
What about that? There you go. Sly PAs.
Exclusives. Can I ask you a question about Lisbon?
Certainly can. Yes.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how out of breath were you walking up the hills?
You know what? I think I was okay. I think it was more. You
I
got.
need a number, Dave.
You know, out of 10, out of breath. I'm going to say 4.
Oh, really?
Should have been more, but now I'm a
I was
master.
seeing stars.
I'm
in
a
Lisbon.
master of hills because if
Okay.
you don't go straight up, you go zigzag, and whenever you're blocked, you do that naturally.
Oh, like a gecko?
Yeah, straight across.
Why?
you
How does
know.
how does that help? Does that give you time to?
Because
Does
if
give you
you're
a break?
walking, you're just going straight up the incline. Whereas
Yeah.
if you're going that, it's less of an incline.
So you're just
You know what
dodging trams, just going
Yeah.
across the road,
And
all
plus,
across the cobbles.
I was blocked, and it was
Oh, okay, it
a
does
great
help.
time. It
Yeah.
does help. But see my
does
tibialis
help.
anterior. Whew.
Yeah.
A lot of
This
strain.
one was fantastic. I've never eaten more. This is getting real middle class now. This is where I thrive.
This is where I'm talking about. Yeah.
I've never eaten so much octopus in my life in Lisbon, and it's actually quite hard to get octopus here.
That
Not many
does
places
sound.
do
I'm
it.
sorry to say, like you're doing something untoward.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I ate some octopus when I was
Yes.
there. If you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
I had, I've never eaten so much octopus in my life. It was great.
But the seafood in Portugal, amazing. Now,
I seafood and I like it.
listen, this is why you do it.
Comedy.
Now,
It's comedy.
what we need to talk about.
Gentle comedy.
My friend and yours. Now,
A mutual friend. Yeah.
Cisco.
Cisco.
Cisco is a guy who I've recommended to anyone that I see going to Lisbon. I'm like, you need to try this guy out. And there's been
Yeah.
people who've tried to contact him. They've not been able to reach him. So far,
Yeah.
you're the only person
Oh,
that's
really?
been able to reach him.
I've got through the Iron Curtain into Cisco.
Maybe
yeah.
maybe Cisco
I
is
think
like.
I think I name dropped you as well because I think at that point it was on Instagram, so it was like, well, actually no, I didn't name drop because my name was Comedy, and then he assumed, I mean, 2 comedians from Belfast area. He was like, do you know Dave? I remember him being like that.
I thought he was going to
still
say to you,
remembers.
"Are you married to Dave?
Yes.
It's the same surname."
Yes.
Like, no, that's not our name.
No,
Surname's
no,
not
it's just
Comedy.
Comedy.
Yeah,
We've all got the same surname. They must all be related. But yeah, that was a great time.
like the Wayans over
yes,
here.
yes. Yeah, that was a great time actually in Lisbon. That tour, it was a good time. I love Lisbon.
But have you found,
So-
like, because we've not actually spoken about Cisco. You sent me a photograph of you and your friends at
Yeah.
Cisco, and it made my heart
Sore.
melt. I was so
Sore.
happy to see him now.
Yeah.
Before we go anywhere else with Cisco, why's he got no eyebrows? Anyway, that's neither here nor
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
But
Story
my
about that.
experience of meeting him was like when I got to my stag do, I was given a list of chores I had to do,
Okay.
and like it was like now this caused me trouble because it was the size of a passport. So whenever I got off the plane, I'm like, it feels like my passport. Left my
Oh,
passport
no.
fully in a plane,
Oh,
awkward.
Jesus.
But when we got there, one of the things were any glass of wine you get, you have the neck.
Oh no.
And I was like, well, I'm not going to be drinking much wine. I'm a stag do.
Yeah.
The wine tasting was a thing. So we
Yeah,
got brought into this
totally.
guy, Cisco, very professional, very
Very
formal.
knowledgeable.
Had
yeah.
his like wee map of Portugal, and this
Yeah.
is the Douro Valley and where
the
everything
regions and everything
comes
else.
from.
Yeah.
And then he was like, try that. So I would
You
get
went-
the wee, and then he'd be like, sniff it,
Delicious, yeah.
swirl around, down on one, and he was like,
Relax, kid.
all right, yeah. And he goes, and there's the white one.
Mm.
And then he's like, right, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And then we had to explain. And it
Was
like,
everyone doing it at the same time?
No, just me.
Oh, just you.
But because it was,
guy's got a
but he
problem.
was like, "What's wrong with this guy?" And then when he
Yeah.
cottoned on, he was like, "I see what's going on here." And
Yeah.
then he started
Drinking
getting
again.
involved with us. And then afterwards, he was like, "I like you guys. Let's go to a pub."
Yeah.
So we ended up going to the pub. Can I show you if I can find a video?
Yeah.
It's going to be so scundery because I think we're in a bar singing with Cisco.
Yeah.
And by the way, for
That's
anyone
good.
listening, it's not Cisco of the Thong Song fame.
It's also not Cisco, the VPN service that
No.
most professional services companies use. That's how I know it. So
Yeah, well, it's a
Cisco,
difference.
Connect
See,
your VPN.
that
Cisco.
shows you know about VPNs, and I
Yeah.
know the guy that sings that song.
Yeah.
So
two very different demographics. for
two
both of us,
different,
you know.
but I mean, listen, if you get them together,
Yeah.
I'll try and see. Do we even have it? Because if I don't, I'll be really embarrassed that I've taken so long to go and. Well, that's me. I'm married in these videos. So
While you find it, can we
Mm-hmm.
discuss the 2 gigs that we've done recently together?
yes.
If you recall.
Well, I know one. Well, let me think. One was in
One
Ards
was
and
in
one was
Ards.
in Antrim.
Antrim, yeah, because
Yeah.
we don't really get to gig together that much.
No, because
It's-
I only
stars
I
never
only,
aligned,
I
Dave,
only
for us to
agree
be
to
on.
gig unless it's all white males.
All
That's
white
the
males,
only
yeah.
thing.
That's the only
that-
stipulation for
yeah.
gigging. It seems to be most people's stipulation for gigging.
Yeah,
you know,
but
for
listen,
most-
you know what I mean. Listen, if you have what you
Yeah.
like, it's like I don't have like because
you know.
again, it's not just like people are like, oh, it's all guys. I'm like, nah. See if the guys are of a different ethnicity or anything. I'm like,
Yeah.
nish nish.
No,
Gotta be white.
get rid.
Gotta be white.
Yeah, that's that actually leads
If it's
on,
not
yeah.
white, it's not right.
Yes, it's well, that actually
Joking.
leads us well into
Mm-hmm.
what happened in Ards. I wasn't here for this gig. We've got into Ards afterwards.
Yes.
But we should do a poll. Do Ards deserve stand-up comedy? I'm going to vote no, because it's just a shit show. It's to be fair, like sometimes when a gig is so bad, it can actually be really good. If that
Do
makes
you know
sense.
what I'm gonna
When
say?
it's a really rough gig, it can actually be really fun.
I think we saved
know?
it though. I think.
Oh no, that gig was really good. The one before that, apparently,
Was this in Ards again?
Yes, the same bar, the same place.
Oh, right, okay.
Apparently, the audience, not to offend any Ards listeners, but sometimes the IQ of the crowd in Ards is not great. One of them was shouting racial abuse at one of the acts. Did you
Wow.
hear this? Like actual racial, like heckling, and we're still on
Cisco.
Cisco. But they got the wrong race.
Oh
They were
wow!
shouting the wrong racial slur.
And did somebody correct them? And be like,
know.
actually, if you're going to do the racial slur,
if you're going to racially abuse me, at least do it right.
Yeah.
Is our main takeaway from this situation,
Do you know what? I think
insane. Yeah.
like, I'm a man who, like, I'm from a mixed marriage. People know this. I have I have sides on both sides of the community. Like, you know, if for example I want to bless myself, I do this, just one side, just the one. I just do a big L across myself.
Yeah.
But I feel like some Protestant areas don't have a sense of humour, and I mean, it might
That's
be
true though. Oh,
like,
yes. So this again, so much happened in Ards. The very first time we did Ards, I was
it a different venue? Was it?
No, it's all the same bar. It's the Ivy bar. Yeah, it was all there, and because there's no green room, we're all just kind of loitering at the back of the gig.
Which, by the way, see that gig we went to, my heart was, I got back from my holidays that day, and
yes, that's right.
And Dom, listen, I love you, but I did not want to leave my house that day.
Yeah, I know. It's
so whenever I got
really
there, and then when it started,
you were choked by the holiday feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, no, like, I am often derogatory about certain places. There's the triad of places I'm derogatory about.
Where?
Dundonald, Lisburn, and Arts.
Yes,
Right?
yes. I fully agree.
This is the triad that I.
Shitholes.
And listen, there are nice people amongst that.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm sure there
are
was
diamonds in the rough, but
like,
not
I'm
many.
sure not all the Nazis were terrible. I'm sure there was a couple of guys.
A couple of nice guys.
But
yeah, I'm sure.
For the most part, you know, problematic.
Yeah.
So we're in Arts.
So at the back of the gig, this is one that I've done it twice, and the first time we did this,
for punishment.
I know, but we were at the back and we were all sort of loitering, you know, waiting to go on. And it's, to be fair, all the gigs are packed. It's very busy, and they're very into it. They're just idiots.
Yeah.
Is that kind of?
No, I think
kind of
I'm going to
fair,
say it's
you know?
like, I think there's a pockets of idiots. Because there's some of them that are amazing. Some of those guys were real great that night.
Oh yeah! Oh my god! Hang on, we'll get on to that because some amazing.
By the way,
amazing new followers and stuff as well.
I just want to point out that there's also a feud going on Arts at the minute, so I don't want you to get involved in that.
Okay.
Now, you go back and be like, you're involved in the latest feud in Arts.
But anyone that was there would know that there were, oh my god, there was a pocket of ball bags at that gig that we were at.
A pocket of ball bags is a great phrase.
Yeah,
I like that.
But I'll get to the end of this. At the very first gig, we're all at the back, and there was, you know, two ladies on the wine, on the rosé at the back, you know, one of those ones, and you know, we thought they were talking quietly, but they weren't really, so we could hear everything that was going on at the back. And I can't remember who was on stage, but it was so good. Me and George Robinson and a couple of people were standing at the back, and one of these
by the
ladies,
way, he's very good.
Yeah, very good. And
he
she turned to her friend who was with her and just went loudly, in her loud whisper, so all of us standing right behind her could hear. She went, "Are they all Catholic?" Which I thought was incredible. The answer's yes. But in Ards, there might have been one that wasn't. But then I was like, is that a trend? Are there more, I haven't actually thought about it ever, are there more Catholic comedians than Protestant comedians?
Yes, I think so.
Is there?
I think so, yeah.
And which is interesting. It would lend your
my theory.
Your theory that some Protestants don't have.
But I just think maybe, like, I think nowadays, like, sort of working class loyalists take themselves maybe too seriously.
Yeah.
Like, if you make a joke,
Definitely.
it's a joke. You know, sometimes they're like, "How dare you offend me?" It's like, nah, it's only just a joke, and I don't really mean
Relax.
it.
Yeah.
You know, you can chill out a bit. But also, I think what we need to do is 2023, Catholics, Protestants need to come together. And send the migrants back. That's what we need to do.
And become Catholics.
We need to become one, become Catholics, whatever.
Catholics,
become Catheters. We stand along. We will stand along the border, the sea border.
All the catheters at the border, you know.
And we'll get the arms dumps, we'll dig up the fields, and we'll stop the boats. Yeah. That's what we, and I don't mean that.
It was it's a joke.
You know.
Really, yeah. But the gig that we did was last week, 2 weeks ago, was wild, and I loved it in a certain sense. Do you want to summarize kind of what what happened?
So weren't you out? Now this by the way, you need to address this beef on this podcast too. I think you were out the back talking to Glenn.
Yes.
And I came out to sort of like, because Glenn has been trying some stand up recently, and he's new to it, and a baptism of fire to go on first, and asked to go on first.
I was like, that's
at a bar like
brave.
that.
So, I never asked to go on first, really.
You know, I went on, and I thought that night he did well.
Yeah.
All things considered, I thought he did well. I wanted to come out and sort of reassure him and just have it. And then when I went back in, it looked like there was a full bar fight going on. And I was like,
it was amazing.
No, my first reaction to that was, oh yes, please tell me I'll get my fee and we can get to go home and not have to do stand-up.
I know, because immediately you turned to me and were like, just tell Dom to cut it, just give us some money and we can just go. You were in holiday mode, you still had the hat on, sunglasses. You're like, we can just take the money and run. You know, it's fine.
Like, I could just go home and go to sleep.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? It would be. But then, thankfully, they got the guys out, and shout out to Brona for. I mean, I did feel like, again, as like an old guy, I thought like I maybe should, but then she just was willing. I think she was going in to throw digs.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, Brona, maybe you just need to keep yourself away, keep yourself safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm very like, I'm health and safety guy. I don't
Yeah,
like
health
being
and
involved.
safety,
And see, when I was younger, I'd have been like, oh, let's go and dip. But it's like,
Yeah.
I like my eyes, I like my nose, and my
Yes,
teeth.
and the
So
teeth.
let's just
The
stay
teeth
away.
are a real thing for me.
Yeah.
Fuck that. You know, even the boxing and all. I was at the dentist being like, will this definitely protect my teeth?
Yeah.
Will this guard definitely stop them from being knocked the fuck out? And
Yeah,
they
but
were
I
like,
mean, you won, so there you
Yeah,
go.
well,
So it is what it is.
But
But whenever we were there, I was a bit
historic.
like, you know, I don't know. But then,
So
like,
essentially, will we say what sort of happened? Just
Yeah, well, there was
rough,
a big
heckling towards Brona. He was the first. There was heckling the whole way through,
Yeah.
but then there was quite an offensive heckle
Yeah.
thrown at Brona.
but the worst
and-
heckling is people just talking.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
and
the biggest death you'll
Oh.
ever have is people just talking over the top of you, like not at you, not heckling. Heckling's okay, you can deal with heckling, but that sort of murmuring, just talking like while you're doing your best jokes is horrific.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Because whenever I was
You'll-
watching
you'll
Glenn,
find.
I was getting cross because I was like, shut the fuck up. Like, this is it. Like, and I know Glenn. Glenn is, I love Glenn, right? I just
Yeah.
want to put it out there. I love him. But I also know he can be a bit of a sensitive soul. And I thought, I
Yeah.
just don't want him to feel
Yeah,
like
hurt by it,
hurt. Yeah, I didn't want to feel, and these ignorant bastards. And thankfully, the two of them got thrown out. And that was it. They were the two that were talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was funny that I've never seen a gig stopped and one of the acts being like, "The fuck did you say?"
Yeah.
And then the mic's thrown down, everyone's just standing at the front shouting
Yeah.
at each other, and then like lights went on and they were thrown out and stuff. And I was like, and then George Robinson was going on next, and he was like,
Yeah.
just down at the back, being like, "Well, this is happening," and then he killed it. They absolutely loved
he was
him.
very, very good. Because I'd not
and-
seen George before, actually.
Yeah, George
and
is great. Yeah,
And
George
see,
Robinson
that's
is
the thing,
fantastic,
as an old timer, see, when you see new acts, what you want to see is them being good at stand up.
Yeah.
Is that much to
It's-
ask?
it's not that
I
hard.
don't care about hype.
Well.
I don't care about constantly messaging. Can I
social
go
media. Yeah.
just
Are they funny?
basics?
Yeah.
And he was funny. It was good to see.
George is great. George was always good. I remember I was there. He did the newcomer competition, I think, and I remember watching it his first ever time on stage, and I was like, he's got it. I think you can tell sometimes from the first gig that
Yeah.
the bones are definitely there, because I was like, he looks so calm and so confident.
Yeah.
You know,
See,
whereas the
that's-
wheels must have been going like 90 miles an
But
hour.
I think
you
that's a
know?
lot of it too, is like, you can have good jokes. You have to be like a total package. I think one of the biggest things is to look calm.
Oh yeah.
So if you're up there...
Yeah, people tell me I look calm on stage, especially when I did Lavery's the first time, I think. One of my friends and stuff came to it, and they were like, "You just looked so confident and so like at ease." Whereas I think you know yourself, like when you're doing a big gig like that, I was like, you know, the wheels are going 90 miles an hour, like you're properly, your heart's racing and everything.
Yeah.
The adrenaline is coursing through you. It's a weird sensation to have so much adrenaline and then having to be like deadpan.
Yeah.
It's weird, like it's to try and channel
Because that's
that.
what I used to struggle
So-
with, going to sleep after gigs. So
I
would
still
just,
struggle to switch off after gigs.
But you know what I do now? I have a wee cup of tea. I read the North Down Spectator.
Not the North
I chill
Down
myself.
Spectator.
And then I
Yeah.
just go up, because I was just getting coming home from gigs,
Yeah.
straight into bed, and then getting like fidgety legs, and I was
Yes, like,
and then I'm on the
thinking about
phone,
it.
and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like,
You know what's annoying?
chill
Recently,
out.
I'm finding that every time I'm going to sleep, I'll think of like a new idea or a new bit, and you have to be like, "For fuck, me taking the sleep mask off and everything, getting the phone, having to write it down, and you look at it in the morning, and you go,
What is this shit?
What is
Because
this shit?
I do that. Like, I would like, I mean, without sounding like some sort of Louis C.K. type guy, I would love to get to the
Spoke
point
it out on
where,
stage.
I'd like to get to the point
What
where I have
is it?
somebody that's in the shower room with me, like writing
taking
down.
notes,
'Cause
yeah,
in the
shower-
shower,
oh
and
my
then
God,
have to
the
get out and
shower's so
have to
good.
like, so, and
Yeah.
then you don't want to get your phone all wet and all.
Yeah,
but-
you're like voicing it yourself, like, you know,
yeah. Because no, I wrote something.
differences between men and women, and then you
I
set
know,
the phone down.
and that's
like a-
that's all my bits. Let me see.
Tinder,
Like,
you know,
I-
Catholics and Protestants are different. You know,
I wrote
that's
it-
me. It's my whole
I
set.
have a bit about my about a great aunt of mine, and this is the bit that I wrote in the shower yesterday.
Yeah.
I have the same views on WhatsApp groups that my great aunt has on gays. There's too many of them.
Yes.
So
I wrote down an idea last night. Just in my notes, it just says, "Old people use too many exclamation marks."
yes, and caps.
Yes, exactly. But it goes like, if they're saying 3 sentences or 3 like things in a row, 3 statements, like go 2 exclamation marks, then 5, and then 8.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are you shouting?
Yeah.
That's those are my late night thoughts. You know.
Yeah, but then it's like, I've got these things. What do you make into them? And then sometimes you look back, you go, you
Fuck's it
don't
thinking
give
about,
yourself a lead to what it means.
Yeah, well,
so I look
actually
at some
talking
things
about.
I've written and gone, and what am I trying to, like, I'm like an art critic, and what was he trying to say
Yeah.
about that? You know, it's like, I don't know. I'm just, you know,
You're like, yeah.
because like
You're writing for the Times. You're like, what does this really mean?
Yeah,
You know?
it's like what the,
yeah.
because for the new show that I'm doing, I realised when I was doing Work in Progress, I've bits, but the whole show's called ROLEPLAY. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I need to actually think about the guts of what I'm trying to say is.
What's the poster for that? Are you trying to go for like a Greek sort of god
Well,
thing?
There's
I
actually.
want to know where that was shot, where that picture
so
was taken.
it is. I mean, if I do say so myself,
Is it a bed sheet?
It is a bed
See?
sheet,
See?
but
sheet
there's inspo, you see, from my favourite person in it. So they did a favourites. Where are my favourites? That's what it'll be in. Because I am, of course.
If you were a professional, you'd
favourite.
have all these ready to go.
Yeah, I know,
You would
I
anticipate
know,
what I was
but
going to
I
ask you and have it
didn't.
in a,
Hold
in a,
on,
in a
so
folder.
so that's you know, there's my poster there
Yes.
that I've posted it all the time. Probably
Yeah,
you're
I
sick
like
of
that.
seeing
Oh,
it.
look at the anchor and stuff.
Yes,
yeah.
thank you. So let me see. It's a rip off. I like to do like parodies, of inspirational things.
Roleplay as well.
Yeah. So you see,
See.
the role play is because like my last show was Pillow Talk, and it was
Oh,
about
okay.
literal things you talk about in bed.
Oh,
You know.
okay.
So there's the inspo, Sam Smith.
Oh, right, yeah.
See,
You
so
love
an
Sam Smith.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
Icon.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
so I thought, like, this is. I don't get the credit for being one of the most
Those
intelligent
artistic
comedians.
minds
Do I?
of
Yeah.
like comedy.
So
sort of,
pillow
yeah.
talk means
Yeah.
things you talk about after sex.
Yep.
But ironically for me, it's literally stuff silly things you talk about in bed.
Yeah.
Like once, true story, my wife was like touching my back where I have hair
Alright,
stored,
settle down.
and she was like, "Do you condition your back hair?" And then, rather than go, "What a stupid question," I went, "No, but I mean, if I do condition my hair and my beard, so maybe when
Yeah.
it's being rinsed, it goes down,
It's
and like
not, yeah.
it's and then like that. So that's where that idea came from. Now with role
So it's
play,
maintenance. Manscaped, you know.
yeah, exactly. But now with
We're not
role-
sponsored by Manscaped.
No,
fuck
we're
them.
not exactly.
Like
But,
actually.
I did have a problem with Manscaped, but we'll not get into that. It's a story for
Well,
another
look,
day. Because all I'm saying, I used to have a scrotum,
yeah.
but now after I used Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0, I don't.
Okay, there
No,
you go,
that's
yeah.
fake news. But so role play is about, again, it's people think it's about sexual things, like a follow up to pillow
Yeah, sort of
talk,
things, yeah.
but it's not. It's just about. I have been reflecting a
about?
lot, having gone full time, and I'm in the house by myself a lot. I've had a lot of time to think.
Too much
And then
time. Some would
too
argue.
much time, and I think about things that, and then I question, what is my purpose? What is my role? Who am I?
Yeah.
I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I'm me. Am I a cool guy? I don't know. I'm a comedian. I'm an old guy. I went to get my phone upgraded the other day, and the guy in the
Yeah.
O2 shop tried to sell me a wallet cover. You know what you open
Oh,
up?
no.
And I was like, I'm not 60.
Oh, you're like you were
Yeah.
you were profiled as a wallet guy. Oh, that's
and you know what the
disheartening.
awkward thing is?
Yeah.
All old women take photos on their phone, holding it open like a book.
Yes,
and it's
like a
like,
book, yeah.
I don't need that.
Like an iPad trying to take
Yeah.
a photo. Yeah.
So that hurt my
Mental.
feelings. So I'm just really looking at like what my role is, and that's what the
Yeah.
show is. So that's why I've been pondering. And again, I need to be careful about this. You could probably help me because I feel like I
Them
am,
or me?
You.
Okay.
You could, these guys, they're
Fuck
fucking no
them.
use. But I don't feel like I'm a big gender guy. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not like men do this, women do this.
Oh, yeah.
However, on stage I seem to end up
yeah.
talking about that. But
Maybe.
I want to talk about how I am technically a man, but I'm
Now
not.
or in the show?
Not well, like, for the
Let's
show.
say the show,
Well, like
okay.
I am a man, I guess but I'm not a man. So for example, if like you've something broken in the house, you're like, we need to get a man for that. I'm
Yeah.
not that man.
No.
Do you know what I mean? But then I don't want to sound like I'm being some sort of fucking misogynist or something because I'm
Yeah.
not. You know.
True.
But then I end up down that. And here we are. But you know
Yeah,
what?
that's true. Get into,
Anyhow.
we'll get into
Yeah,
the,
we'll get into
the gender argument.
We'll get into the gender
on
argument.
the comedy scene. Yeah.
But yeah, so what?
Yeah.
We'll just briefly tag on that. I think it is a problem that we need to solve in a degree. But however, there are reasons why things happen, and there are reasons why other things
I
happen.
don't know. I take
think.
quite I think I take quite a balanced view of the whole thing, to be honest.
so-
I'm not like I don't have major beef about the scene, really. I've a lot of very mixed thoughts about
But
it. 'cause
should,
I
before
think,
we get into it,
yeah.
we need to let the listeners know, because the listeners might know.
Okay.
There's
Backstory.
a bit of backstory. Is there's sometimes there's beef goes on within communities, like we're talking about arts having a feud.
Yeah. I got stuck in a
going
march on
on?
the way to that gig. Did you see that as well? I got stuck in a march as like, crawling, and like first gear
Yeah.
behind it on the way to that gig. It was a bad omen.
Yeah.
It was. I
We
should
should have
known.
just turned.
I
and
should have gone. Yeah, I should have
Yeah.
gone home at that point.
But-
yeah. We should probably clarify that some of the people in ours were fantastic.
Yes, some
really,
and the gig
really
was good.
good.
It has a lot of potential,
Yeah,
and I
the
enjoyed
gig was
myself.
great,
The headliner that night was unbelievable.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
James McPeake.
Yeah. Oh, you must have left early, did you?
Yeah.
No,
there
James
were some brilliant people in Ards. It's just Ards as a place.
Yeah.
is questionable.
And I'm a Bangor guy too, so there are arts
yeah.
nemesis. I don't give a fuck saying that. But so obviously there are a lot of guys on the comedy scene. A lot of guys doing gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe not so many ladies. You know. Again, I also feel
that's the whole problem.
Yeah,
Sometimes
I feel awkward in even using sometimes the phrases. You'd be like, not enough girls. Be like, call me a girl. I'm like, no, I don't know what to say. I don't mean it, but I know what to say.
I don't know. I find
so.
I've been doing comedy for about a year now. Only started last June.
And
time has flown.
But you get paid gigs after a year. Unbelievable. Less than a year.
Yeah, it was a lot sooner than a year that I started getting paid, which is fantastic. I know this
cash
is
money.
Yeah, I was like nothing better than a wee cash little secret handshake, you know. But it was
dogging back to the start
dogging,
of it. Secret handshake and a flat on a fly. Yeah.
But I don't know. I know some people have experienced sexism, and so have I. Like but it's never sort of overt sort of comments.
Yeah.
It's little sly like microaggressions. Someone call them little sly comments and stuff. But I don't know. I'm in two minds about it because I'm like, yes, this seems to be welcoming and promoting women, of course. But then there is also that thing of if you're going to be hurt every time someone, kind of points you out as different, you're not thick-skinned enough. Like, it's not the first time that I've been in like a male-dominated environment and I've had to sort of hold my own. So it's not really. It actually doesn't really bother me. Plus, I haven't really experienced, proper discrimination because I started getting good gigs quite early on. I think you have to be, there's a lot of other factors at play outside of your material. You have to be a nice person, and you have to be professional, and you have to turn up on time. You have to
do your time,
and you have to just be generally just a nice person to work with, which I think sometimes can be an issue.
But another thing, a thing that I find frustrating, as somebody who not so much anymore. I'm not going to be booking gigs anymore.
You're fucking done.
Fuck that.
Yeah, I don't want to run.
Do you know what? I think there's wider problems that we need to address. Now, obviously, the thing is there are there's far more guys doing stand up. Far more.
I know that there are some people that look at posters, they see when a poster's all male and they lose the fucking rag. They immediately go, why the fuck are there no women on this? But then if you think about it, there are a lot more men, so obviously there are going to be some lineups that don't have any women on them. I don't give a fuck about those ones. I don't care. But
you know what? And it is a thing, because as somebody who, joking aside, I have 2 daughters.
I was going to say, 2 daughters.
2 daughters and a wife, and they're more important to me in my life. Whatever the song is there.
You're like, I can't be racist. I have black friends.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'd be like this. Please,
line. How dare you? I don't. Gross.
You're like I know women, therefore I can't be.
But no, it's
misogynist.
But where I think that differs, and I get that point, is I know what I would want for my daughters.
Yeah.
And I want them to not feel that there's a barrier in anything to them. I hate the idea that they think I can't do this because of their gender. Do you know
I never felt like that. I didn't think I actually didn't know a lot about comedy, the scene, before I went into it, really, because all of this, Dave, I'm just going to say, all of this is a very happy accident. I never I haven't been dreaming of being a stand-up comedian since I was 7 years old. For a New Year's resolution, for a bucket list thing, I went, I'm going to do stand-up once. Yeah. And that was it. And it was just a random like spur of the moment, and I messaged the PAV at the time and said, can I have a gig? And they were like, yep, no problem. And it all just has snowballed since then.
But you know what too, we need to do more. I think as a scene we need to be more open to but then also it's a two-way street as well. If people aren't asking for gigs, you're not going to get gigs.
Yes, this thing of but thinking people are going to come to you for gigs and say that does happen a lot now, but if you're not asking for certain gigs, if you don't ask, you don't get.
But then there also is a way of asking too, which is awkward too, because some people are too and just annoy you and you're like, ugh.
I'm very much I would if you're looking at lineups in the next couple of months, I'd love to get on, please.
But and
there's nothing.
What I don't know if this has been discussed, but it's something that I've noticed recently, and it annoys me. I find audiences will listen to guys talking about their dicks all day. Yep. When a woman maybe mentions OnlyFans, they're pussies. Yeah. Why am I turning to an 80-year-old guy when I said that? Periods, things like that. Yeah. Audiences almost
but they listened. Yes, because I have a bit on. I don't have an OnlyFans bit, but I reference OnlyFans, and then I do have 2 bits about, now I don't know how, it just sort of naturally wrote themselves, the period jokes, which, can I say, always work.
Yeah.
Like, people do find them funny. But it's, I don't know, I had a discussion the other day about this, about, and it was Luke McGibbon, friend of the podcast, pointed out that it just makes, if you don't like women, right, say you don't like women, you don't think they're funny, if half the audience tend to be female, if it's roughly half and half, for a lot of the gigs, if there's a woman on stage telling jokes from the female perspective, they're quite likely to find them funny.
Yeah.
And I know that from personal experience, from women coming up after gigs and being like, you were great, you were really, really great. And I'm like, see, they want to hear about their experiences. They can't really relate to the whole dick jokes.
Yeah.
Now, they do find them funny, and I find them funny as well. But if you want to repeat, like, people coming back and enjoying the shows, try to have more representation on the lineups. And it doesn't matter if the audiences are laughing, and that's, you'll keep getting booked and stuff. But I just do pick people who the audience are going to like. Yeah. And sometimes it's not all male lineups.
Correct. And
that's
but again,
even if you hate women, you must like money.
But you know what? Yeah. But I also think
so money's always good.
I don't think there is like as big and like I don't feel it's a toxic scene here. I think people could do more and be a wee bit more open like. But then there's elements of it that people don't always see. For example, if you're in a room with somebody and you'd be like, oh, can you do this gig? Boom, it's easy booked. You know what I mean? It's like, it's
true.
But you need to put a bit more effort into that, I think, too. Like, whenever I, like what you're saying there, when I write bits, I try to look at it from a perspective of, like, when I started, I was like, right, I want my mum to be like, oh, fuck, I have a son like that. He's a bloody pain in my arse. Yeah. So I'm writing, like, now when writing about Catherine, or the kids, I'm like, well, I want people to go flip. I've either got kids like that, or my husband's useless like this, or else if it's a husband going, I'm like that. So, but I think like audiences need to,
need to kind of relate,
but also women should be allowed to speak about what they want, and like this whole like. That was a bit inappropriate that she was speaking.
It's just misogyny. It's just them being like, she shouldn't be talking about that. That's very unladylike. But that's just misogyny.
Yeah. But you know what? People. I think that there's a lot of good up and coming acts. I think there's definitely. Now for me personally, seeing the amount of like newer female acts that are starting, it's great to see. Because there was a period of time there where like, I mean, I'm just thinking like really. It was Teresa nearly for that. And it was just Teresa. And Teresa's fucking brilliant. But
and then Diona sort of came in recent years as well. And then there hasn't really been.
But the good thing is it's starting to happen. And I think, like, again, like you say, whether you're whatever gender you identify as, I'm very important to me because of my Sam Smith. But, the key is if you're a new act, the basic thing is be funny. And be sound.
Be sound, be funny, be sound.
That's kind of it.
There's nothing really
but like see some, because there was a time whenever I was running and one of my Pugs posters ended up and being like, there's no females on this, and I was like, you know what, I am also not going to just book you because you're fully slagging off something. Yeah, but you also shouldn't be booked just because you're a woman either. You need to be funny. That's the thing. You need to be you need to be polished. You need to be consistently funny. Are you making the crowds laugh consistently with your material? That's obviously an important part. I do feel like definitely people who aren't booking women and have made sly comments about women and stuff, they need to be sort of taken aside and be like, here. And are there people right enough who you've?
Yeah.
Have I?
No, he's one of
the. Good, I do mine secretly, thank God.
So you make sure no one's listening. Yeah,
but you know what?
The sly comments made all the time.
But see, with that, if there are people who are, to call them out on it. Yeah. I think that's, or else tell somebody who maybe is older and crumpier and would say,
we have channels, we have channels,
get it,
but there's kind of, you have to like call them out, but then also you need to be like thick-skinned as well. Like, are you going to walk into a room and feel attacked if you're the only woman on the lineup? No, I don't feel attacked. I deserve to be there, and I'm there. So it's kind of, there's a mixture of the two. Like, call out stuff that needs to be called out, but also just keep your head down, work on your material, be funny and be sound, and people will book you over and over again.
And what a way to wrap her up. You know what I think we need to do? Men, women together, people who are non-gender identifying, get to the sea border and stop the boats. That's the message of this podcast.
Stop the boats.
And just before we go, I want you to is there anything you want to say to that guy Gordon?
Oh yeah, it's whatchamacallit?
Yeah, that guy
Gordon.
Glenn. Yeah.
Whatchamacallit, Gordon. Yeah.
McPeake's coming for you. You watch out.
I'm in your seat now, Glenn.
For anyone who's looking to follow you, where can they get you?
They get me at Rachel McPeake Comedy on Instagram.
And do you have anything you want to plug in coming up?
Yes, I'm doing the Glenna one
Nice.
in Andytown, isn't it? It's in
Yes.
West Belfast on
By
the
the way,
25th of August. Haven't done it before. Is it a good gig?
one of the gems of the scene.
Yeah, I've heard
Love
really
the
good
Glen one.
things. Yeah.
They're
and-
wild and they're up for a good time.
Yeah, Andrew Ryan is headlining that one, and I've got loads in Dublin
And
as well at the moment.
And he's literally outside, I think.
yeah.
And, you know, the
So,
Andrew Ryan will
yeah,
be there. so-
exactly. Speak of the devil, and I've got Dailies in September,
you go.
which is actually sold out. So no fucking need to plug
Nice.
it. There you go.
Don't bother.
With Kieran Bartlett. So
Yeah.
Dino Doherty.
Rachel, it's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
And we'll have you back anytime. Take care.
Excellent. Enjoy.
I'm the sly guy.